Well, how's it going, YouTube? Today we're going to test a Bear Creek Arsenal barrel. This is a heavy profile nitrided 18-inch barrel. It's chambered in 223 Wylde and it has a 1 in 7 twist. The lower that I'm using is just an A2 lower with a kind of honestly, a pistol grip that fits my hand. I think it's a Sierra, can't remember the exact model. The trigger has been adjusted, it's been polished, it's about a 4-pound trigger. I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens. This is actually the second time I've tested this barrel. First time it started out great and then everything went to hell. I think it was the scope I was using. I've switched scopes using Aero Precision mounts. This is still a cheap scope, so we'll see what happens. Today I'm going to be testing a combination of ammo. I don't have anything real high end. Probably the best stuff I have is IMI 77 grain Razorcore. I've got PPU Match 75 grain, IMI Razorcore 69 grain, PPU Match 69 grain. And from then on it's just going to be a mix of 62 and 55 grain bulk ammo. I've got some Independence 62 grain, Wolf Gold 55 grain, Independence 55 grain. Normally I would have some 62 grain ZQI. I somehow left it at home, so we're going to have to eliminate that from the test today. And then lastly we're going to round it out with some Tula 55 grain steel cased ammo. We'll see how she does. So we're shooting at 100 yards. I'll show you the impacts. I'm not going to show you the actual shots. All right, well, let's take a look at how we did. Honestly, I'm not too impressed. The IMI shot okay. That was about 1.4 inches. Had a 5-inch group with a PPU 75 grain. I mean, the IMI was a little over 2.5. IMI 69 was a little over 2.5 inches. It had 2.7 inches. All measurements are center to center. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. PPU Match 69 grain, 3.3 inches. Again, I didn't bring any ZQI out, so I didn't shoot on that particular one. Independent 62 grain, I had a 3.8 inch group. That's about par for course for that type of ammo. Wolf Gold, 6.2 inches. I had a flyer. If you toss the flyer out, and you're looking at about 3.25 inches. And then lastly, that Tula 55 grain just shotgunned all over the place. I don't know what to tell you. Normally I've had better luck with the IMI 69 grain ammo. That's just consistently shoots really well out of all my barrels, in Bear Creek barrels especially. I shot a second group just to make sure it wasn't me, and still wound up with a 3.2 inch group, which is kind of in line with what we shot before. The only thing I could say is that that first group was relatively tight, and then it kind of started opening up a bit. I was not pacing myself when I shot. I think if you watch the video, you can see that I wasn't rapid firing. But it could be that as the barrel heats up, that it's opening up a little bit. So that might be something to take a look at. I'm not real impressed with this barrel, to be honest with you. It shoots, at its best, it shoots better than some of the other Bear Creek barrels I have, but at its worst, it shoots much worse. So I guess we're going to have to break it in a little bit more and see how she does. But that's just kind of a take it for what you will type scenario. All right, thanks, YouTube. All right, so we're back home. We're going to take a look at the groups. First up, this was the BCA 18-inch .223 Wylde 1.7 twist heavy profile barrel. It is nitrate coated 4150 steel. It wasn't bad, honestly. It wasn't bad with decent ammo. The very first group I got 1.5 inches. Second one was 5.5 inches. That was PPU 75. It did not like that at all. Next up I got was the best group out of the barrel. That was 1.25 inches 5-round group. And honestly, I probably pulled that one, but you know, who knows. It shot extremely well. Opened up a little bit with the PPU 70 or 69. It was kind of a disaster with some of the other cheap stuff. So ZQI 62 grain, that's the SS 109 ammo, manufactured in Turkey. That's a 5.3 inch group. Not great. Independent 62, that's Israeli. That's basically rebranded Israeli IMI 62 grain ammo. 7.5 inches. Definitely not great. Wolf Gold was about 8 inches. That's brass case 55 grain. Independence 55 grain was a 6-inch group right there. And then a 7-inch group from Tula steel cased 55 grain with the bimetal jacket. I'm not, it seems to like the IMI loads, so this barrel I would definitely stick with those, and I think you'd be more than happy. It's probably capable of getting below 1 inch with IMI once it's broken a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, so where does that leave us? As you can see, I threw on at the end of this video the targets that I shot using this barrel a couple of days ago. The only difference is I was using a different scope. I wanted to do 2 different days and 2 different targets to just make sure that there was no problems with the scope or the scope rings. Previously I'd been using a Banner Dusk Till Dawn scope. It's a pretty cheap Bushnell scope. I'm still using a pretty cheap scope, a little bit better one, but it's a Bushnell AR Optics,
their BDC drop zone is what it's called, and it's the 4.5 to 18x scope. I feel like I originally thought that some of the inconsistencies on this barrel exhibited might have been due to a problem with the scope or the scope rings. So I wanted to swap over and see if I could eliminate that. I no longer think it was the scope or the scope rings. I felt pretty good a couple days ago when I put up the targets. I felt pretty good about what I shot today. I know that I had one or two shots I didn't feel great about with some of the trigger presses, but almost everything else I felt very, very good about the trigger presses. I felt very, very good about my just the scope alignment, my point of aim. I didn't feel like there was a big problem. You may have noticed some of the impacts were off to the right. That's because when I sighted in the scope, I just threw it on there, got it close enough to call it good. I'm not going to leave this particular scope on this rifle, so I wasn't too concerned about niceties. But it was on there solidly. It didn't walk loose or anything like that. So overall thoughts, I'm still surprised by some of the inconsistencies when you swap ammo. It seems to really, really like that IMI ammo, both the 77 and the 69 grain ammo. As you can see from the first time I took it out shooting, the 69 grain IMI shot the best, and this time around today when I went shooting, it was actually the IMI 77 grain that shot best. I don't hand load, so I'm sure that somebody with the hand that took their time working up loads could probably get sub MOA or close to it. I'm just still a little baffled by the disparity between group sizes once you start shooting a little bit and swap ammo. I mean, there's some of those that were walking out to like 8 MOA, which is just ridiculous. So make of it what you will. Coming up, I am going to be testing 3 other barrels. I've got a BCA Government Profile 20-inch barrel chambered in 5.56, 1-7 twist. I've got a BCA 16-inch M4 Profile barrel chambered in 5.56, 1-8 twist. And I've got a BCA pencil barrel chambered in 5.56, 16 inches, 1-7 twist. So I'm going to test all those. I'll show you the results with the same exact ammo lots, same exact load, same exact order of fire, and I'll be posting that over the next week or so. So hopefully it'll make anyone that's on the fence help you make up your mind. And you know, we'll just see what we get. I'm not gonna throw out any shots. I'm not gonna measure anything. If I think that I had a bad trigger press, I'll call it. But aside from that, I'm just gonna let you see the shooting and make up your own mind. All right, later.